All right, Spa Insiders, Taylor Fields on the podcast today. Taylor runs spa and wellness and retail at PCH Hotels, where he manages some of the hottest luxury spas in the South. Taylor is also one of the youngest leaders on the board of the International Spa Association. Now, Taylor's got a very cool role at PCH because it's in this Goldilocks zone of size. He's over a lot of spas, so he's got a wide-ranging view of what's working, what's not working, but at the same time, it's not so many that he isn't able to be hands-on. Today, we're going to talk a lot about Southern hospitality, guest experience, and how Taylor's position starting in the industry as a spa attendant helped give him a very unique perspective on connection and guest experience. I'm very excited to share. Enjoy. Taylor, I am so darn glad to be talking with you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I am so excited to share your perspective with our audience because I feel like you have a really unique view of this industry. You are now heading up wellness, retail, and spa for PCH Hotels, an extremely high-end luxury operator. You're an ISPA board member, so you have a bird's eye view of this industry. But one thing that I absolutely love about your story is that you started out as a spa attendant.
Yes, I did.
And I'm really curious, how did that time shape your view on guest experience? And let me pause here to say that PCH, if you're unfamiliar with the brand, they are really differentiated on this axis of guest experience. I mean, you guys eat, sleep, and breathe that. So I'm just so curious how that has shaped your view.
Yeah. Hospitality with heart and soul is what we're about, and really leaning into that Southern hospitality. And for some people, it comes very natural, and for some, it may not, and something that you're able to bring out of them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, started out of high school as a spa attendant, knew nothing about a spa, had never even been in a spa before. Mm-hmm. But was just really drawn to that environment. What is this luxury part of the hotel? Who are these people coming into the spa? And really just wanted to immerse myself into an environment that I really knew nothing about, but I had this affinity for luxury experiences.
If you look back on that time, do you remember a moment or an interaction with the guest where you kind of got the addiction?
There's multiple. Really, I have a great relationship with the owner of the majority of the properties that we manage, and my relationship with them started from providing a great spa experience and being able to engage with them.
Oh, awesome. So they were coming through the spa themselves?
That's right. General managers, their wives, lots of entrepreneurs, business owners. So really the connections and the relationships that I was able to build from engaging with people, finding out while they were there, providing that exceptional experience. And really, it wasn't about I have to go to work today. It's I get to go to work today.
You get to meet a bunch of interesting people. And did you find that when you're in the spa and you're talking with people, were they open to it? Did they want connection? Did they want to be engaged with?
I think that's all about reading cues. And normally you can tell if someone's there and they do want quiet and peace and you want to be able to deliver on that experience, or they looking to maybe engage more. So certainly those cues are something that you want to pay attention to in the experience.
So what makes an exceptional guest experience in the areas that are outside of the treatment room? Like, what are the touch points there that you feel are the most critical for a spa to nail?
There's so many interactions and touch points, even from the reservation process before the person's even gotten on site. And then you could have a great treatment experience, but then of the thermal areas, the interaction with the staff when you're checking in, the checkout experience. No one loves paying the bill, right? But how can we make that a really neat touch point? You really have to think outside of the box, right? Doing something unique and different during the checkout process. A lot of times aromatherapy towel might be given at the check-in, but why not do something different at the checkout? That could be in food and beverage or really any department in the spa.
I love that. Kind of take the sting away.
That's right. Yeah, so doing something different.
What are some things that you guys have done at your properties that you've thought were really cool?
Well, we've done some neat arrival experience, an aromatherapy experience where it's maybe a small towel where the water's poured over it and it grows into a larger towel that you can use. Really, a lot of it is engaging with the customers and keeping the staff motivated and the energy levels up to not look at the guest as being another number. I mean, a lot of high volume spas that can become very transactional, and really looking at each guest and find out what are they here for, what are they looking for, are they here with a friend to be social, or are they mourning a death, celebrating a wedding? You really see it all in hospitality, and each of those are treated in a different manner.
That seems hard. Like, one bad interaction can tank your brand.
You know, a lot of times you look at a bad experience and hopefully you can resolve that before the guest departs. Mm-hmm. But really a great way to look at that as an opportunity to really delight and be able to recover you know? And I think that providing your front desk or your team members with, hey, here's the 5 or 10 things that are within your realm that you can do for a customer to be able to surprise, delight, recover, and really giving them the autonomy to be able to take care of the customer.
How do you give them the autonomy to do that?
Clearly set the expectations, literally having a guest recovery toolkit or an unexpected delight. Here are your 5 choices for someone that's coming in for a birthday or anniversary, and you get to choose how you'd like to delight that guest.
Very interesting. Is that something that's been present in all the spas that you've worked in, or is that something that you've said, hey, we need to be thinking about this, we need to systematize this?
Yeah, it's generally up to the operator, but certainly something that we've incorporated into the initial training of the spa experience and what that looks like, all the way from phone reservation process throughout the facility.
So if I'm a smaller business owner and I like the idea of arming my team with some level of autonomy, but I don't know how to do that without it becoming unprofitable, where do you start there?
You have to look at, is it always an item that has, money attached to it? A lot of things that we do, it's not that it costs a lot of money, but it takes effort in delivering that service or doing something out of the ordinary. So it doesn't always have to be something overly expensive. An example that I like that I've heard, years ago was if it's a really, tough guest recovery, maybe it's something wrong with the, entire hotel stay or resort experience. Asking the customer, how can I resolve this for you? So in my mind, I might think, oh, I've got to buy them a flight to Hawaii to a different resort, but that customer might tell me something, totally different.
What are some of the things that your staff are empowered to do for guests?
It can range from, different gift bags or amenities, but we want to take it to the next step and have it be a little bit more specific to, an anniversary or newlyweds, and really having the amenity speak to what they're celebrating it versus being a generic amenity that could be given for any type of celebration. There's lots of tools out there to collect information before the stay. Not everyone is doing that or can afford to do that, but really making sure that it's muscle memory, essentially, that our staff are engaging in and able to customize the experience. That's luxury. That's where the premium is that human-to-human interaction.
I love that. And what are the pieces of technology that facilitate that for you?
There can be like a pre-arrival form that certain properties are sending out before the guest even gets their preferences, entering in preferences into the various reservation systems. And normally a lot of those things can be logged there, but again, all these things you can find out this information from engaging with your customers, remembering the regulars. A lot of times you're forming those relationships. You already know the robe size, slipper size, which locker they like. Are they there to celebrate, or do they want complete silence? And really making sure the spa is prepared for them and their visit.
If someone on the team is extracting information, is there a way of socializing that with other people that will be involved in that guest touch point or that guest throughout their stay?
Yes, a front desk agent would be able to see that. The reservation agent would be able to see that. We're always logging notes and anything from as basic as an allergy, where you want to maybe avoid different things, to, Taylor's favorite drink as a sparkling water with a lime. You're being able to have that beverage there ready for them whenever they come in and delivering on that experience.
That's phenomenal. You're kind of touching on something that I've heard you returning to during this conversation, and that's that what really makes luxury isn't necessarily something that's expensive. It's that feeling. And
that's right.
It seems like it's baked into your being and your philosophy.
Yeah, it was a speaker years ago talking about luxury being a feeling. And really, when you think about it, even going into a luxury store, someone purchasing maybe a tangible luxury good, they're purchasing that handbag because of the way it makes them feel when they carry that, or those shoes, or the spa experience. How do I feel when I'm leaving that establishment? And we're at the core of that as far as experiences and really being able to deliver on what luxury truly is. And it's that feeling that you're able to evoke.
So where would you start with trying to create that feeling if you were a smaller business and if you're not doing a lot of these things yet?
I think for many staff members, and many may have never even had a spa experience before, never really understand it from the customer's perspective. So how can you really kind of pull them into what the service is so your staff can see that from the guest perspective? Mm-hmm. I think that's really important. Can also help with team morale and retention. I have seen multiple properties. It's part of the onboarding is that you go in and you go through the full spa experience and also fill out an audit form as well, from everything quality and condition of the facility and the
Oh, cool.
towels present and the treatment and all those guest touch points as well, so they know what we're looking for with each person.
I love that. And then the things that fall short, it's how do you become a stakeholder in improving that?
That's right. Or just part of the interview process being a little bit of job shadowing. Is this a job that you would be interested in as far as in the locker areas or at the front desk, to really have that potential employee see what they're getting into?
Mm-hmm. What are some other ways that you would start to introduce that feeling into the experience for your customers?
I think it's certainly keeping the team motivated each and every day. And it's kind of one of those things where you feel like maybe the small things you doing are not making an impact, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like we were discussing, as far as you don't go to the gym and get on the treadmill one time or do one workout and expect those benefits or results. It's the same thing with your team, continuing that rhythm of excellence, continuing to forward to the team, keeping them energized, motivated to continue providing that guest experience. It can become very transactional if I'm a spa provider or a spa attendant front desk agent who might be seeing hundreds of people in a day. And sometimes in our minds, we're just trying to focus on getting that person checked in and back to their treatment experience, and really being able to create those individual customizations each time we come into contact with people. And again, that might be some things that come natural, or some things you really have to bring out. And I think that will make a lot of people a stronger interviewer as well. What are some of the questions that you can really ask to get to know potential applicants and how they'll fit into your spa and the spa culture?
What are your favorite questions to ask?
I think mine now would be a lot different from when I was in operations, right? I would like to know what's the person's career aspirations. Do they know anything about spa or not? What gets them excited and going during the day? I think I would be asking very different questions versus what might be on my interview sheet
Today.
to really learn what gets them going.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to understand, is hospitality something that's going to energize this person?
That's right. And a lot of it is nonverbal cues, right? You can normally tell when you're first meeting someone, but really just getting a deeper understanding of what's going to keep this person motivated and how are they going to fit into our spa culture and really what we're about.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think the analogy of going to the gym from this team building perspective is phenomenal. What are your team's workouts? What are the things that you're really trying to be consistent with to whip them into shape?
Well, daily meetings are very important, right? We need to know groups that are coming into the property. Who are our VIPs of the day? What is the occupancy? A lot of times that's so routine, day in, day out. You're used to hearing it every day, but really taking those to the next level. Obviously, that's a portion of the meeting, but keeping it fresh each and every day on something motivational, or having someone share what was one win from the previous day. Having a spa provider maybe share one thing you would never know about them, to really build that team relationship and morale, and really keep it not routine. We need to know the occupancy and those VIPs, but we hear those names and those types of the meeting each day. We got to keep it new and fresh as well.
How about for a solopreneur? So say I'm an esthetician or a massage therapist, and I hear you talking about this feeling that I want to create with these people that are coming into my business. What is the workout that I should be reminding myself to do every day?
I would say it's the continual learning and growing. You don't have to be doing something totally different every day, but just the evolution. We know that things are changing at record pace. What are my clients coming in for? What are they looking for? How am I making sure that I'm not getting stagnant, but remaining true to the core of what your business might be? We know in resort spas that anywhere from 70, 80, sometimes 90% of the business, they're coming in for that resort style massage. It's the core of our offering.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that there is opportunity to have other modalities and things out there, but just knowing that's really the majority of the treatment requests that we see coming through the spas. So if we want to maybe drive a specific enhancement or revenue number, go to where you have the meat of the business to be able to make an impact.
Love that. Is there a touch point, like you describe that phenomenal ritual where you're taking that arrival moment and you're not just giving them a towel, you're creating an element of theater with it. Are there other dimensions that you see that really cost nothing, but that create this disproportionate value for the experience that a smaller operator could steal?
Yes, talk about treatment recommendation.
Hmm.
So when you're recommending a product for me to use, really being able to connect the dots and engaging with that customer, you might find that someone works from home or they're carrying their kids around the house a lot, and you actually might recommend a specific treatment for them to have next based on their lifestyle or what they might be dealing with. Having that conversation and being able to connect with the customer or guest that way.
I love it. So making it feel a little bit more prescriptive and custom versus I'm supposed to ask you about this. So,
Right.
So how do you incentivize those moments? I feel like you have such an eye for those moments of delight, and it's easy for a solopreneur to say, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to take what Taylor's saying and I'm going to try to do that thing. But then you may have an operator that is saying, I've got a team, and they may be automatons going through some service protocol or standard, but not really going beyond that. And so what do you do to make them ambassadors of that experience?
You really have to get down to the why. We're in hospitality. We're paid to take great care of people, right? What a cool job to have. Paid to take care of people and provide great experiences. Many times your service providers, they're caregivers. That's how they've gotten into that role.
So I want to go kind of rapid fire and put you on the spot for a second. So imagine you're a med spa. What's one thing you can start doing tomorrow that will make your experience better?
Fluff up the treatments and make it not feel so medical, right?
Okay, how are you doing that?
Arm and neck massage as well during the facial treatment.
Okay. Now, how about if you're a day spa? What's the one thing you're going to do to elevate that guest experience tomorrow?
Bring some service elements that you've maybe seen in resort environments that you could bring to your day spa, right? It's about that engagement, and you might not have all the wet amenities. Not every spa is the Taj Mahal, but it's about that service experience, the engagement with the customers that really drive that overall guest journey.
What if they've never been to a resort environment? What's the one thing that you'd be like, you should be doing this?
A strong arrival experience, warm welcome greeting into the spa, especially for that first time spa goer. You want to be comfortable from the very beginning.
Love that. Are there ingredients of a great arrival?
That first impression. How are you engaging with the person? Are you looking down at your keyboard? If you're on the phone, how can you put the person on hold to be able to greet whoever's coming in? Many would be nonverbal cues, right? The smile, the look, the presentation of the person. A lot of those drive experience as well.
Yeah, I love that. How about for an LMT?
For massage, the draping standards, what type of sheets are you using? Is there a nice treatment table covering or a blanket on the top of the sheet to really make sure that person feels safe, secure, warm, cozy, during that spa experience? There's so many elements that we use in spa treatments that really don't have added cost to it, but it's the intention. There's so many different touchless treatments out there that could be incorporated as great value adds that you could package and bundle with your spa services or to promote a massage. It's really not costing you anything additional to have that nice, perceived, unique experience.
Do you have a favorite that feels like it's achievable from a price entry standpoint?
There's a lot that are really reasonable, many that are under $1,000, so you can really get a quick ROI. A lot of that is knowing the customer and what they're looking for. On the facial realm, you're seeing a lot of the LED light therapy, even the compression boots being used in facial treatments, right? You're normally not working on the lower part of the body, but what a great way to drive a little bit of ancillary revenue and differentiate your facial treatment, where I really feel like, wow, I feel like I got a full body massage with a facial treatment.
Feels relaxing versus just outcome driven. Okay, so to wrap up, I'm very curious. Who has your biggest mentor been so far in your career?
There's certainly a few, right? Looking outside of the spa industry, the president of our company has been amazing to work for. Really, since I moved into the corporate role, working with the president of a company who really gets wellness and spa and lets me take a leap in a lot of leadership and corporate positions. It's about being able to ask good questions. That's really kind of helped me in my corporate role, be able to help our operators.
So if you could distill that into a single lesson that an entrepreneur could steal from you, what would that jewel of wisdom be?
Whenever you have a goal or initiative, write down the top 2 or 3 people that can help you. Don't do your goal alone. Really lean on a mentor or industry friend. Sometimes it's just having that dialogue and bouncing questions back and forth, or maybe learning from someone who's tried something and maybe it didn't work for them, but it could work for you. But at least talking through some of their learnings that they've had. So Spa community is generally a very open, sharing community of people, just a wealth of knowledge. So you got to make the move to be able to talk and learn and grow and meet as many people as you can.
I love it. Well, thank you for talking and helping our audience learn and grow. And again, just a pleasure to talk with you. And we're very grateful you're willing to share your wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor.